Hey guys, good morning. It's Cowboy here. Figuring having a cup of coffee here, and then I thought maybe what I might do is play with the mini pedal board I got sitting here and the monoprice amp, and just kind of give you a little overview of what I did with the pedal board. So we'll see what happens. It's pretty interesting. I think I'm going to do the taping today inside my RV here. So this will be interesting, and I'm not so sure I can get the settings on the amp the way I'd like without blowing everybody out around me, which is not a good idea. But anyway, we'll give it a shot, and let's see what happens. Anyway, thanks. As you can well imagine, this space is a little bit of an issue here, so in between the two seats, the driver's seat and the passenger seat, this is my little quote-unquote recording area, and this is what I'm going to be using today. This is a black Strat made for me by a friend in Maine. If I'm not mistaken, it's got Van Zandt pickups in it. I've had it forever. And then sitting obviously behind it is the monoprice. I'm probably going to use a 1-watt setting, and we'll see what happens from there. But anyway, should work out. So let me start to get stuff hooked up, and we can go from there. This is a quick overview of the pedal board, and you'll notice down here I have the Mooer wah. These flip out actually, if I can get them, and this is what actually creates the wah pedal, and it acts, you know, pretty much what you'd expect. Then I've got a Donner blues drive here, which is a, basically a Boss BD2 clone. Got a Hustle drive here, which is an OCD clone. Then I have the Donner Boost King here, which I think they call like a exotic RC boost type of thing. That does have bass, volume, and treble and gain. We'll play more of this later. This is the Soul Shiver. This is the one I was kind of looking for because it has a chorus, a vibrato, and a rotary setting, and we'll mess around with that. And then this is the Yellow Fall Donner delay that everybody likes. Of all of these units, and then I had to pick up this power supply, which conveniently plugs right in here, and it just sets right in, and you can unplug it and take it out. A little tough trying to do everything one-handed here, but take this out, plug it back in, then use your power supply. Of all of these pedals, this was the priciest, even though I made a bid on it and got it for a fairly reasonable price, but I think a little bit high. Donner you can usually get on sale on their Donner Deal website, 25% off, so this and this and this were all purchased using that. The Soul Shiver I had from Mooer, but they don't make the same thing in Donner, and I wanted these effects, so I actually purchased this. I put a bid in online and got it for, I can't remember, I think maybe 65 bucks. And the Hustle drive here I actually picked up from a musician's friend, which was pretty neat because they had it as a return, and I got it shipped I think for like $44. All of the Donner stuff is pretty much under 30 bucks, and then I bought, to go along with it, I picked up the Mooer case, and the reason I picked up this case is because it does have the drive for the or it has a setup actually put the wah pedal in it. So this is basically what I'm going to use, and we'll go through and I'll get everything hooked up, and then we'll try playing around with it, and we'll just see what happens from there. Okay guys, let's give this a little shot here. First of all, the monoprice I've got on the 1-watt setting. I've got the gain I think about 4, the volume up around 5. On the 1-watt setting I actually like it up a little bit more, but again, like, I got some restrictions here. I don't want to get and aggravate my neighbors. So anyway, I use the Strat, and this is just, everything's clean, everything on the pedals off, so this is just clean going through from the 1 position Obviously that's a 2-position middle pickup on the Strat. 4-position on the Strat. 5-position. So let's run right back down reverse order. Now just strum a chord and go through them. For intensive purposes here, I think I'm just going to pretty much stay on the 4-position. I have my guitar wired so the middle pickup's wide open, and the tone, one of the tone affects the 4 and 5, the other one affects the 1 and 2. So anyway, let's get going here. First one, wah pedal. To engage the wah pedal, you have to step on it, and when you do that, you press on it, you'll see the red light that's on the left side. That means the wah is engaged. You take it off, it's disengaged. Engaged, or disengaged, engaged, and it goes something like this. If I take my foot off, it just disengages the wah. Now I have the ability here, see if we can do this correctly, if I tap this a couple of times, what you'll notice, I got to move the camera here, is that the light comes on the other side. When that happens, that means the wah is engaged just like you'd normally expect, or basically, you know, for lack of a better purpose, left on. So let's just try it, and then you'll see how the cock position sounds. So that's pretty, and then I can disengage it. So now the wah is off, nothing happens. Nothing happens with this, and then when I step on it, it engages again. Let me just do that here. So I would say of all these pedals, the wah is probably going to be the most difficult to get used to, because the throw has to be pretty much flat to get all the way down. So there's not an angle to it. However, you know, it's usable. I wouldn't say it's as good as my Clyde or my T's, but you know, hey, it's a wah, it'll work. So we'll stop with that, and we'll move on to the next one in a minute here. Okay, let's take a look at the Donner blues driver here. This has got obviously on off, you got amount of gain here, you got a tone control here, you have a setting here which is for hot setting, and I can't read the other one right now, but and then you got a level here. So let's just try this guitar. Not too bad. Tone control, I'm going to turn all the way off so you get some idea. pedal. It does brighten it up quite a bit. Level control, obviously. I think right here I'm probably right about 1 o'clock, I think now. So let's go back a bit. Start it and then take it up. You got plenty of gain on the volume or level. Let's try. This is what I do find interesting with this. On the hot, listen to the, it does make it hot, and it jumps in volume a bit, as well as tone changes a bit. Kind of gains, to me it seems like it gains the high end a little bit more, which means I'd take my tone up probably. Just for a kick here, let's try switching the pickup all the way down to the bridge. On the bridge pickup, so I'm going to move back on the other one. So actually it seems pretty versatile. You know, the gain is got, you know, decent amount of range. It is an overdrive, not a distortion, so it's decent amount of range. The hot switch, I can see playing around with that a bit, especially if I'm switching back and forth between, let's say, single coils and humbuckers. But so far so good. So we'll leave the Donner and let's move on to the next pedal. Okay, let's move on here. Now we're going to take a look at the Mooer Hustle Drive, which is the OCD clone. And I'm back on the 4th position on the Strat. So let's just see. I haven't even turned this on, so let's see where it's at. Play the drive a bit. If I played with the drive, I'd probably kind of like it backed off a little bit. It also has volume. The switch here is HP and LP, which talks about mid-range cut boost thing on there. To be honest, I got to look it up. Right now I have the volume down around a little over 9 o'clock. So there's plenty of volume there. I mean, I don't think we need to worry about that. And the tone, I've got about, here about 11 o'clock. Let's go back to 9 o'clock. Let's go to 12 o'clock. Pardon me, almost falling out of the chair over here. And then let's take a look at the tone wound up to 3 o'clock. Now right now I have it in the LP, so let's go from the LP setting up to the HP. So let me just try and get something to start with here. Go back here to LP setting. Yeah, a little less mid-range jump in there. Even at the lower volumes, I really find this pedal to be pretty neat. Excuse me. It is an OCD clone, but so pretty much pretty decent. I like playing around with this pedal. This pedal seems to be quickly jumps into something that I like the sound of, even at a low volume. So you know, that's, let's leave that one at that for the time being then. Let's move on. Okay, let's take a look at the Donner Boost Killer here. This is the exotic RC clone, I think is what they call it. Pretty neat. Again, typical. You got a gain control here, which is pretty interesting. And I got bass, volume, and treble. So this will be good if I want to jack it up a little bit and, let's say, add a little bit of gain in. Or just use it kind of clean. So let's see what happens here. I've got everything pretty much 12 o'clock, maybe a little higher than 12 in the treble here, but so the gain right now isn't anything really to speak of besides what I've got a little bit on the amp. What I probably do here is maybe just take the volume up a hair and just tweak this up now. So now let's see if we can get a little bit more of just a volume boost. There's your volume boost. I suppose I could use it with for a gain also, because if I turn the gain up here, it's going to get a little. Got a little bit of a treble boost in there too, and picking up some string buzz here. But pretty neat. I think I either can use it to jack the overdrive pedals, or could use it just kind of a clean boost. I'd probably have a tendency myself to keep it back here and just use it more for a boost and just a volume boost here. Let's try it like now. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what happens if we play with all three of these for a bit here. Gonna have to move the camera a little bit here, and let's just see what we got now. I don't even remember what I got for settings, but A little bit of a boost there, and I can control that, but let's stack a little bit here. Pick up a little bit of noise, but you'd expect that when you've got everything engaged. Definitely some possibilities playing around with these three. I have the boost after because just, you know, I may set the boost in front of them and play with that. And I mean, obviously it's you know, pretty much a question of preference, but so far so good. The boost is what I would expect a boost to do. The one thing I do like about it is I like the aspect of having both a bass and a treble on it, so you can kind of tweak where you want it to go versus just having a straight one tone and maybe a volume knob. The gain, I haven't played with the gain a lot. I may use the gain by itself on some stuff, but anyway, pretty interesting. Of the three, I would say this is more than usable. I mean, it's relatively cheap. You can buy them on sale. I think on sale, I maybe paid a hair over $20 on this. In fact, I've got another one because they screwed up and double shipped my order, but for 20 bucks, keep it. This I like because it is the OCD, and I think it's got that added jump. Obviously, the boost here the same way, and when you're looking at $25 a pedal, you know, what can you say? I mean, I used their 25% off Christmas sale along with free shipping and just hammered it. So anyway, so much for that. So give me a couple minutes here and we'll move on to the modulation effects. The modulation effects here. This one's a Soul Shiver by Mooer, and the reason I wanted it is your top setting is a chorus, then it has a vibrato, and then it has a rotary. I kind of played around with this a little bit. The top section here is volume. This is your switch for the three settings, and this is your intensity, speed, and obviously, you know, off, on, and light. But let's check this out with a chorus. First of all, clean. I'll get that tuned later. Okay, let's try this with a little bit of chorus. And the chorus is up a little higher than what I would like, but I did this for a specific reason, because all I'm going to do is now move it to vibrato. The speed may be a little faster than what I'd like, but there's a reason, like I said, I'm going to leave it here. I notice it here. I don't know how much is coming through, but it's kind of a little subtle. Let me just jack the intensity up a little bit. Okay, I hope that's coming through a little bit. Now let's try rotary. Not as I can hear it just through my amp now. I kind of agree with the reviews that the chorus may be the best setting on this thing. But with a little tweaking, you know, you'd get by. But again, you're sticking a chorus, a vibrato, and a rotary into you know, into one little pedal. So I kind of like it when we get into this a little bit more. But, you know, it'll do what it needs to do. I'm not going to play around with all the intensities on that, because I could probably I probably will end up spending like an hour or two trying to find out where I want different settings for, you know, different things. It's definitely, I got a full tone Deja vibe, and, you know, it's not as good as that, without question. I mean, that's a much nicer pedal, and the price tag is way nicer. Anyway, let's move on to a little bit of a delay here. And I'm still in that 4 spot. And echo is change the time on it. Obviously, you got a time, echo, feedback. Let's take the time up a little more. I'll see what happens. Let's increase. Let's put the echo and the feedback up to 12. So that's pretty neat. I like a little. I'm more in that slapback range. Kill the echo back a bit. Way more than what we need sometimes. Can even play around. Well, let's turn everything up a little bit more. Give some idea. That's quite a bit of feedback. So, pretty much in agreement. This is a pretty versatile for a real inexpensive delay. It sounds pretty good. I've got, I think, 3 other delays, and this one's probably, without question, best bang for your buck. I do like my. I got a love pedal that I like. It's very musical. This one's not quite, but again, it's still, you know, it's still pretty decent. So let me just turn. Let me add in the driver with this. Can't see it, but I got the OD on. So, tons of stuff you can do. It's pretty neat. Let me turn the OD off. I'd still have to go through and adjust these. Let's just see what happens when we leave the. Let's play around. Let's use the rotary and the delay together. Well, that probably pretty much ends my little quick overview here. Again, I haven't spent a lot of time tweaking, so I'm going to sit back and say that probably everything here needs to be adjusted. There's no question in my mind, and I need to get it in a setting where I get a little bit more volume out of my amp and a little bit truer sound, but basically still pretty good. Pretty decent, and the good part is that you can get into all of this, especially if you leave the wah out. You can get into this whole thing for really, really cheap. Great chance, you know, compact, folds up nicely in a little case. Nice little thing to throw in. I'm going to a country jam later on today, and we'll take this with me, and probably won't use it much because I'm a little lost in some of the country jams, but we got a couple guys there. But anyway, so I'll give you a little bit more on this sometime later maybe. Thanks. Have a good one. Hey guys, back. I figured I'd finish my coffee. It's a little bit cold now, but give you some closing thoughts on the pedal board. I probably, excluding the wah, I probably have those other 5 pedals totally. I might have a couple $100 in. The Mooer I like. The Donners are pretty good, especially, you know, if you're looking at something simple. The blues driver and the delay are just, I mean, you can probably get them both on sale and spend less than $50 and have them shipped. You got to look around. My favorite pedal on there probably would be the Hustle Drive, the Mooer Hustle Drive for the OD. Then the delay is pretty good, but again, for what I'm looking at, I'm not spending, you know, you're not spending $250 on a pedal that you don't know whether you like it or not. And the whole point of the video is not to sell anybody or promote any brands or this is the best or whatever. That's not the point. The point is you can get some pretty decent stuff out there relatively cheap, and then sky's the limit. I mean, you know, I've spent some serious money on some pedals, which have been worth it, but I also kind of had, you know, an entry-level pedal or something to give me an idea of what I really wanted. I've also sold some pedals that were just way too much, more than I needed. I had a TC feedback, a delay pedal or something that, you know, it's too much for me. I didn't need it. It's just the learning curve, and you know, you can only have so many pedals. This is why I personally like maybe 4 or 5 pedals max. Unlike some people I know, and this is a matter of opinion, I like an amp that sits right on the edge with being able to overdrive if I dig in playing a little bit with it, and then use pedals to take it from there. And that's my preference. I know some people like it pristine clean. I have a Tech 21 TM60 that I probably, that solid state, that's an older solid state, it's not a modeling amp, but it's a pretty pristine straight ahead amp, and it actually takes pedals pretty well, so I'll get a chance, I'll try it through this and see how the pedals work out with that amp. But in the end, it's all a question of what's your preference and how much money, you know, do you want to spend. And I just did this as a fun thing to do. Believe me, I know the videotaping and the audio and stuff is not ultra high quality, but it's nice sometimes to just see it and at least get a little bit of a listen to it, especially if you don't have access to trying out everything before you buy it. And for those of us that live out in the middle of nowhere, we don't have that many good music stores around, so sometimes it's hit or miss, and like everyone else, I've made some mistakes on some pedals that I've purchased. I shouldn't say mistakes, but I've found out that I actually like something else better. But anyway, in the end, just sharing this, having fun. Have a great time. Hope to see you at a jam sometime soon. So, later.